Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for True show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for True show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. Welcome back to your time, the space where you get to see where we can go forward in life, future, realities, discoveries. Sometimes, really, they're not discoveries. They're reawakenings. And tonight, we have a very special show for you, especially considering after July 4th, a day of independence, liberty, not just for Americans, really for the world, because when we celebrate liberty in every country, there's a resonance. We're human beings. It resonates in our souls. And tonight, we have a guest that actually resonates with that freedom, that wisdom, that aesthetic level that we all love to feel. We call it the vibe, or wow, we're in sync. And Buddha, if you can put his pictures up on the screen, there we go. We're going to introduce a friend of mine, Dr. Santana, who for more than 3 decades has led an extraordinary life dedicating to transforming not what he needs, but the community's needs through dentistry, through education, through culture, through music, and his philanthropic community service. He was born in Puerto Rico, and Dr. José E. Santana began his journey there, began seeking excellence with his studies at Loyola University in New Orleans, his Doctor of Dental Surgery degree from NYU College of Dentistry, and the Advanced Hospital Fellowships and Training at Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Throughout his career, he's trained and served at some of New York's most respected medical institutions, including Jamaica Hospital, Wyckoff Heights, Christopher Columbus Medical Center, Jersey City Medical Center, High Tech Dental, and Arch Care, amongst many others. He's the founder and CEO of his office, which he named, and you see there in the background, amazing synchronicity that the image came up, Tooth Doctor. And there you see Dr. Santana, who's built such a successful dental practice that he actually created to imbue and to contain trusts, where you could come with your family and receive not only exceptional care, but more importantly, compassion, integrity, and excellence. His dedication earned him some of the highest degrees in dentistry, including fellowship in the International College of Dentistry, also International College Hospital Dentist. He's licensed in New Jersey, in New York, and he's been recognized by prestigious New York University's Presidential Service Award. Why? For his commitment to education and community service. He's a respected educator, entrepreneur, mentor, leader, and he served as founder and past president of the Puerto Rican Dental Association and past president of Sci-Fi Dental Organization. But this isn't enough. The doctor has a different side, an artistic side, that reflects his deep love not only of art, but community and his heritage in Puerto Rico and the culture of his country. He's the co-founder of the New Jersey Bomba Collective. He's the lead singer of the Cimarrones and a proud member of Herencia de Plena, helping preserve and celebrate the rich musical traditions of Puerto Rico. His passion for music is backed by 10 years of formal vocal training and percussion studies, allowing him to combine artistry with cultural preservation. He really is a tremendous communicator and uses that. He's also been a recipient of the Sage Arts Music New Jersey Award, honoring for his commitment as he does in his commitment and dedication to life. In reality, I could go on and on and on with all his titles and awards, and we could spend the whole show showing you just pictures of him, but that would be a disservice to you. So I'm going to skip this tremendous amount of CV and accomplishment. And Buddha, let's bring up live on the screen and well welcome to Dr. José E. Santana to A Time for Truth show.
Un placer. Nice meeting you. Nice seeing you again, my friend.
Bienvenido.
Meeting you for so many years. It's been a pleasure here and an honor to be with you, trying to show a little bit of what we do to all our counterparts and colleagues in our profession and in the whole world.
And the whole community, right?
The whole community. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, he and I were talking about this, is that life is amazing because it's a collaborative effort. And, you know, you exemplify that. You're a leader in so many areas.
Well, it actually comes on both ways. It actually, you start with a little grain, and that grain, most people want to have a result right away. If you don't build it up in creating community relations and see at what point you try to engage with it, there's not a specific time. Not a specific time. I always said, oh, I could do probably that a little bit later. And I did postpone music for a while. I did postpone it for a while. And I did postpone going in Doctors Without Borders for a while. But things happen where you try to engage with your counterparts and you have to start moving. And creating that little time and space comes on getting out of that bubble and looking at it from outside, and then seeing where you can accolade everything going on in life.
Absolutely. You know, you got into what I was going to ask you, because you have such a broad expanse of education and knowledge. When did you realize that dentistry was for you not just going to be a vocation, but really almost like a springboard and a mission in life?
Well, you know, it's a funny story, because I was actually 14 years old and I was having a tooth filled on a dental office in Puerto Rico. And I realized what was going on. I started looking at, they were starting to work with composites at that moment, at that time. Maybe maybe they were out in the market for about 20 years, but it was like 1981. And he was actually molding. I started asking the doctor all these questions. And I said, so you are actually mixing science with art and helping me be able to chew, getting me out of pain. At the same time, you're dealing with my fear, but you're actually injecting me anesthesia, so you're dealing with the body. And all this mix of different disciplines completely bedazzled me in what dentistry is. So I started moonlighting in that. I asked for a summer job, and it started, you know, intriguing me. It intrigued me to a point where I actually went to become, in Loyola University, I studied chemistry. I wanted to be a chemical engineer. I started working with the EPA in purification of waters in New Orleans. because I wanted to see all the chemicals and everything that were going in the mouth. But that was leading into going into dentistry. It started at that point.
Yeah, very interesting. And you have such a tremendous training after dental school. You went into all these different hospital institutions. A lot of them had some emergent care situations.
Correct.
Probably really catastrophic, horrifying, difficult to confront. And you had all that training, and you learned so much about human beings. I wonder if you could share a little bit of what were the tough lessons you learned when you wanted to do something, but then it wasn't going to be possible, or some of the emotions that you went through in those capacities.
Any time that you go into work or whatever you do in life, you're going to encounter different obstacles, and how you go about those obstacles and how you evolve in order to accomplish what you want is not always the way you think it's going to be. So, but you could get to that final purpose going around. It's like becoming air or water. And when they say no, there is a way around it. So there were times I work in emergency rooms, for example, they told me, where you want to go? You want to go to Lincoln Hospital? You want to go? I want to go where the action is. And they told me at this moment, Wyckoff Heights Medical Center is hot. I said, what do you mean hot? There's always fights. You're going to be suturing half the people. There's going to be a lot of trauma. You're going to have very good experience in oral surgery. So I said, let's go. And I ended up not only the behavioral psychology of the patient, but of the institution, of having the problems of having red tape of how procedures were going to go. Sometimes you want to jump the procedures, but it backfires if you don't do it the right way, and you burn bridges if you don't go through the right channels. So you got to learn to play that game and be able to compose yourself and retract and then pause in order to accelerate faster.
Very interesting, because in life, I think all of us probably encounter that. And I know I've made the mistake that you're talking about, is being so passionate into doing something and saying, no, we have to do it this way. And then you're right, because life is not just one person. You create a lot of barriers for yourself.
Life is very complicated, and it all depends how you see it. I think that, and I believe that most human beings tend to see everything at the same time, or try to see everything at the same time. But let's say, for example, you can't sleep very well, and you try to jot down before you go to sleep the things that you're going to be prioritizing every day. It's like waking up and having a nice glass of water and taking 5 minutes to breathe before you go into action. We have to stop moving like rodents in a circle. We have to step back for a moment every day and be able to remember and retrocede and put ourselves in perspective in order to become a better humanity. That goes without saying. I mean, just, that stress that people go to sleep with, it's nerve-wracking, right? So write everything down. Put whatever you have in priorities, because then you start thinking about things at night. You have everything listed. Now you could sleep, go through, and next day, don't try to accomplish everything in one day. If you get 2, it's better. Even if you did your bed, you come to a bed that is done when you go home. That's an accomplishment on its own. You value the little things. Every single little thing you do in life, you value that.
It's so important, because a lot of times I know I've done it, my friends have done it. Like you said, you try to do so much, in that effect, you invalidate yourself, that you don't see how much you accomplish. You bring out an excellent point in that, because I know I fell prey to that.
We all do. I will say to my colleagues, I mean, dentistry is a very stressful, profession in terms of the behavior. Most people have fears from their past, and they need to be confronted and be able to be guided to overcome those fears. But they have to, you got to earn the trust.
That's right.
And I normally think that most people have to earn the trust for everybody, but when you start trusting also, there's always times where you're gonna be burnt or people are gonna fail you. When they fail, you keep on going. You don't dwell on it. If we dwell on things, we're not moving forward. It's a learning experience. It's okay. You pardon, but you don't forget, in a way.
Well, it's true, and it brings me to actually something, as you're talking about that, your office, the tooth doctor, and the establishment that you created. And tell us a little bit about, because I know you put a lot of trust in there, integrity, compassion. Tell us a little about Tooth Doctor. First of all, where is Tooth Doctor?
The Tooth Doctor is actually on 5th Avenue in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. It's on the side of Bensonhurst and Sunset Park. It balanced, when I started that theory started because I was doing some on-calls in Lutheran, and I was working in Bay Ridge also. I had a large community of patients in the area. And there was a lot of Hispanic area in the area too, and a lot of Europeans. So I decided, I saw the opportunity in this location to rent a space and build it up. And like every young person at that moment, I went overboard a little bit to a little large of a project. So we went through some economical hardship. Through community service, through the Lions Club in Sunset Park, I met different people back then with Fernando Ferrer, Raymond Colon, Cochran, and they kind of helped me out and oriented me in a way where I was able to start doing baby steps and expanding. Okay, so most people, when they get a business, they're not trained in business. That's right. We don't know how to manage that. You could be the best professional in the world. I mean, you don't have the right location and the right staff, you're bound to fail. The worst thing you could do is to try to make the same mistakes or do the same procedures or the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result.
That's right.
So we started changing the hours, started working later in the day because that modus vivendi in the area was asking for that. And it resulted in expansion. I trained over 17 dentists, out of which 14 went into specialties. 2 of them became very successful in their own clinics. I still do have an associate and about 3 hygienists and a big staff there. I do rotate, and I still give the opportunity with 2nd District Dental Society when they have their assistants. If they want to come and train certain amount of hours, they could come in and train into our office without problem. And, some of them stay for a couple of months, other ones, they leave depending on what they want.
Very nice.
That's, the Tooth Doctor started with that idea of creating community. There was a problem with access to care, so I ended up in the Medicaid program, which is not very economical rewarding, but on the other hand, it's very self-rewarding because you give a service to the community where there is no access to care. And I've been doing that for over 26 years already.
Congratulations.
So that's,
you have a big heart.
Something that you're giving back. And unfortunately, there is always problems with the systems, but we are all working on it. And it's a ladder, it's a step, and everything has a purpose. I just hope that eventually when I leave this world, I will have done my job and duty to open the spaces for everybody else in those problems, that they have more access to care, but also that more dentists are able to take those insurances, help the community, and feel safe upon their jobs, and be able to do what this profession is beautiful. It has so many things to provide, not only oral health and human health. It's our way of speaking, it's our way of communicating, it's our first impression.
Absolutely. You know, and I was going to ask you something because you were a hospital director, you know, mentor, educator, you know, advisor. And it seems like a lot of institutions, including our own dentistry, has been suffering the last decade, recent years, membership. It seems like things have changed. And we're looking at like, how do we lead? How do we lead so that those who are coming see a benefit to be in that vocation? And you and I both being in the dental profession, what do you think are the keys for any profession to have a lasting enrollment, to have, you know, a desire to protect and increase like you have with your tooth doctor and your community service? What do you think are the keys to membership in the long run, let's say even for dentistry?
It's great that you actually bring that term to our discussion here. It's trust. Most professionals have lost trust on their own organizations. There was a moment in time where there was no transparency, and a lot of leaders lacked the communication skills in order to have something that is appealing. Most professionals or dentists don't know that organized dentistry provides peer review in case of there is a lawsuit, in case there is a problem with OSHA or HIPAA, provides law advice. And these are all free. I mean, they're in their membership, but it's free. Besides the continuing education, besides doing networking where you could get employees for your office or patient referral or cases that are complicated where you could go ahead, like you have a study club that has been going on for years on Wednesdays, you know, one Wednesday a month, I believe, right?
That's right.
And that's, you know, that's a way of doing it. The second district has that. It's a tripartite. It's been trying to get back that trust by exposing the benefits of being in organized dentistry. It wasn't being exposed. And there were problems with management of the funds, so people felt that their money was being not well used. It wasn't being well used. We have now programs with outreach. We go veteran affairs. We see thousands and thousands of procedures in outreach programs with kids and with veterans, with homeless, shelters, churches. Is unending, and people don't know about it. If you don't know about it, what is this organized dentistry doing for me? So obviously, you have to be able to see what's going on. You have to project it. And I encourage, you know, all my counterparts to be able to communicate with the ADA and the New York State, in my case, and Second District, to try to reach organized dentistry and see what's going on.
No, you know what? I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that, you know, if the community could trust us, and sometimes we forget that as professionals, and but really their trust transfers and exchanges so that when our profession receives it, you and I and our colleagues, there's more of a brotherhood. There's
Absolutely.
more of a purpose.
Absolutely.
Like you said, more of a mission that creates that trust. And, you know, which brings me to the next thing I wanted to ask you, because not only you're a dentist, but it's very interesting. You're an artist already as a dentist, because I know as a dentist that we're artists. But not only you're an artist, but you're also an artist of music, of community. And, you know, before you say something, I want to really quickly, before we didn't get a chance to do this, Buddha, let's put on at least one of the videos that he brought, because it shows what Dr. Santana does all the time. Let's show his art in community service. Here you are. This is the Puerto
Rican parade in Manhattan,
totally.
where this year New Jersey was the state that was recognized. So we united Elizabeth, Camden, and here I am with some of the kids and in my Plena group, which comes out of Cimarrones, and that's, you know, Corriente de Plena, another group that I founded. We are actually promoting all that culture And
Let's put on the other one, Buddha, because he's got another one. I love this other one because I think he's playing in front of the Cardinal or something.
This was in front of the cathedral in Manhattan. When the Cardinal came out to salute the parade, we serenaded him for a couple of minutes, maybe half a minute. We were singing Bailala, which means to dance to the Plena. And it was an honor. These are the little things that nourish you in music to expose culture. People really didn't know about Plena until Bad Bunny put it in a halftime show. I was surprised about that. Plena was actually thought in Puerto Rico that it was being played in Christmas time. Plena is being played all the time in Puerto Rico. We do Mondays, lunes de Plena en El Boricua, in Puerto Rico, in Bonanza. And now it's expanded in all different towns. And we have another counterpart country, Uruguay, that has Plena also. But that's because, back in the 40s, we had certain composers and musicians that were to Uruguay and exposed Plena to them. And that's, that one type of music of Puerto Rico that exposes, it's like a newspaper. If something happens, like there is an old song, mataron a Elena o cortaron a Elena, it means they caught Elena, and so y se la llevaron para el hospital, they took her to the hospital, and they start a song and like, cortaron a Elena, cortaron a Elena, cortaron a Elena, se la llevaron para el hospital. So songs like that, that's something going in rapport with that type of music.
You got some voice.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. I did some training so I was blessed to have some great musicians in New Orleans and in New York that trained my voice.
Beautiful. Strong voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like commanding, yet artistic, and it's like wakes people up.
But it's actually also to say that dentists have that caress and will say, hey you, don't be afraid. And there we go.
Beautiful. Well, we're gonna have to give you back on the show just to sing and to talk about the music.
Absolutely. We'll try to bring the group one day, and then we could do a little show.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That's what our world needs.
That will be something entertaining.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're near the end of the show, but this question pops up in my head. What advice do you give to those young viewers out there who are starting their life? What do you advise them?
If you don't try, don't be afraid of failing, because everything you do in life, you got to try. I was the most uncoordinated musician in the world, and I was ambidextrous in dentistry, so I didn't know if I was going to be I'm a lefty by nature, but I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I wasn't on the top of my class at the beginning, and then eventually I got there. It's a test of endurance. It's a test of purpose. Don't lose that sight at the end of the tunnel. Don't think that by failing, it's not me, I cannot do it. That's the worst thing you could do. If you fall forward so you could walk and move faster, because you're closer to the line. And once you get there on whatever you want to achieve in life, keep on going. Never stop. Never stop. Don't think about anything else, because what we give to the universe gives back to us. But do it without expecting back, because that's the meaning of love.
Beautiful.
I'll leave you with that.
Well, Dr. José Santana, muchísimas gracias. It's great to have you on the show.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
It was a pleasure for us and for all of you. Let's do that. Let's bring a little music, a little art into what we do. Let's move forward, like you said. And if we're going to fall, let's fall forward. And then
correct. Keep
on
going.
Fall. Keep
on going. Somebody always carries you up or give you the hand, believe it or not, when you least expect it.
And we will have this show for music. Tune back in the next time. And for tonight, we hope you enjoyed this segment. We'll see you on the next show, The Time for Truth. Be well.
Be well.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet